Steve Post with Motor Racing Network here at Racing Electronics Display number 4721. If you're at PRA, make sure you stop by. And speaking of stopping by, my buddy from FloRacing, Chris McKee, is here. Chris, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well, Steve. Number one, P1, right? Let's do this. Let's do this thing.
That's right, exactly. We got you on the pole position here this morning. FloRacing, and you started with Flo about a year ago, getting your feet wet. Kind of assess how the year went, how you got up to speed with it all, and how the year went with you guys in 2022.
One word would be crazy. It was a crazy year, a lot. You know, I had heard of Flo probably 2 or 3 years ago. It came on my radar through racing, through college wrestling. I have a couple of nephews who wrestle, so I was exposed to it, but I didn't understand the breadth and scope of it all. I think this year, I heard a stat yesterday, we're going to do close to 2,200 races on Flo in 2022. That is a lot of content, right? A lot of races. A year of being exposed to it. I don't have it all figured out yet. I know it's not easy. This streaming game is not easy, but it is fun. And it's awesome to hear race fans say, when I don't have the opportunity to be at the track, at least I know I can count on Flo.
No doubt about it. When you look at it, about the same time you came on board, Flo made the announcement that they were partnering with NASCAR with the weekly series, the ARCA East, ARCA West, NASCAR Wheel and Modifieds. How did that all tie together for you? Because a lot of your background is in the NASCAR world, is in the NASCAR realm.
Yeah, funny story. I mean, the reason I'm standing here today with Flo is because of NASCAR. I was at the banquet in Nashville a year ago. They were making that announcement you just spoke about, and one thing led to another, and here I am. It's a great partnership. I mean, the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, the Wheel and Modified Series, the Pinty Series, the ARCA Menard Series, the grassroots of racing. And, I'll be the first to admit, for a few years, working in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, got away from that a little bit. But man, it's so refreshing to come back to the roots and understand where the sport came from and how important it is to the the ecosystem and the health of NASCAR in general. And for Flo to play such a small part in it is very rewarding.
You, as a guy that you've done a lot of things. Chris and I go back a long way together. I worked a number of years with MRN with us, but you've been involved with teams, NASCAR teams along the way. What are 1 or 2 things that you've learned about the roots of motorsports and the grassroots that just have piqued your interest over this year of getting up to speed with all of this?
It's a great question. I came into the sport working for the King, Richard Petty, many years ago. And as Richard said on the first day that I showed up there, and it's still true today, it's all about the fan. Yeah. And the fan experience, and whether they're at the racetrack, touching and feeling and smelling the sights and sounds of our sport, or they have the opportunity to sit in their living room and watch and consume a race. It's still about the fan and experience, and they can do it in different ways. But Flo is offering an opportunity to fans to watch a race halfway across the country on a Friday or Saturday night. They can't physically be there, but they have an opportunity to soak it up. And so we want to put out the best in class race experience, and NASCAR helps us do that.
As we entered the end of this year, there was some big events, especially in the Southeast. You're involved with NASCAR program and with the Southeast. There's a lot of dirt track programs and everything else. The Martinsville race, the South Carolina 400 race, where you guys absolutely jumped in. How important is that for you? That race could have happened with or without you guys jumping in, and we all understand Dale Earnhardt Jr. jumped in as well. How important was it for you guys to get in and support one of those roots tracks like Steve Zacharias down at Florence?
Well, it's a huge. I can't overstate it how big that event was. You mentioned Martinsville, the Star Valley Credit Union 300 race, which was, you look at the competitors, the number of people who showed up, the drama of the race. It was awesome for that to happen and Flo to be part of it. Fast forward a month or 2 later, and we're in Florence at Steve's place, and what Dale brought to the table for that event, for Flo to be a big part of it. But all the elements were there for success. The place was sold out. The competition was huge. I think Dale and his effect is certainly icing on the cake, and for us to play a small part of it was very rewarding. And you know what? It's I see it as a great launching pad in where we're going in 2023 and beyond. And hearing what Dale Jr. and his camp have in store for the grassroots racing, give me more of that when we want to be part of it.
Okay, so without divulging, and there's a lot of speculation going on, what does 2023 look like for you guys? More of the same, bigger of the same? What does it look like for FloRacing?
I think bigger of the same. What I mean by that, I mentioned us having more than 2,100 races on the platform. That's going to probably expand a little bit, not tremendously, because I think we're certainly more about, and me in particular too, but I think our whole team, more about quality than quantity. And the touch points of the grassroots series and the successes that we saw this year, there's more of that to be had. And we at Flo are getting smarter about how we go to market with it. Our partnership with NASCAR, I plan to spend the next couple of days here at PRI getting really into the weeds on what 2023 is going to look like with the ARCA Menard series and the Whelen Modified series and last but not least, of course, the Advanced Auto Parts Weekly series, which is so important to the health of the sport. We're going up. There's just so much upside, and excited to get 2023 started.
We can't wait to see what it is. We appreciate you stopping by the RE booth, Chris.
My pleasure, Steve. Great to see you.
There we go. Chris McKee from FloRacing, and we appreciate their partnership with RE. Some of the videos that we do, some of the content we're going to do, FloRacing is going to share as well. So make sure you keep tuned in to FloRacing, Racing Electronics, and MRN all week long from here at PRI.